Well, hello there. We're back.
This morning we were reading the newspaper and over breakfast, and we usually do that. This is something we do. It's almost like a ritual for us. Kind of gets our day going. Um, I like to well, unless there's something that really takes us away from doing it. You know, where we have to get up extra early, or we have to leave, or something like that.
Sometimes we go to the gym early, but we can't do that now.
No, and sometimes we go over to Giant because Giant is open from 6 to 7 for elder people.
And that we can do now.
So, anyway, I usually start with the sports section. And I want to check what the Eagles are doing, the 76ers, and not doing very much.
Nor the Phillies.
In fact, this is a very thin sports section. It's about one folded page. So this morning I had a pretty short time with my sports section.
However, while Pastor Doug is looking at the sports section, I check out the main section. I like to kind of hear what is going on in the world, certainly through the newspaper. And also like to read some of the editorials and letters to the editor. And one of the things that I oftentimes read is a part of the paper that's called Room for Debate, usually giving both sides of the political spectrum. And this morning, there was a story that was included in Leonard Pitts's column. And he talked about an Italian priest. And the Italian priest's name is John Giuseppe Baradelli. And the priest contracted COVID-19. Now, he was beloved by his parish, and since he was 72 years old, his parishioners thought he might need additional treatment, and so they got together the money to buy him a ventilator. You know how difficult it is to get ventilators, get any kind of equipment in Italy, but they were able to do that. And as his condition worsened, his doctors told him that he was going to need that ventilator. Now, in a bed close to him was another man, a younger man, whose condition was also getting worse. And there were no other ventilators. Well, Father Baradelli refused his ventilator and gave it to the other man. Then Father Baradelli died in the other man's place. Just like Jesus died for us. Just like Jesus taught. Greater love has no man but that he laid down his life for his brother.
Wow. Well, with our shelter-in-place orders, I hope we can avoid a ventilator crush like the one that got Father Baradelli. Hope it doesn't happen here. But, you know, shelter-in-place is not like a vacation. This is not an easy time, really, for any of us. In fact, if we're feeling anxious or we're feeling lonely, and the thing we'd most like to do is gather with some friends or gather with relatives and get some hugs.
Yes.
Yeah. And just get some encouragement, we can't do it.
We can't even do elbow.
Yeah. It's now we're not even doing the elbow bumps anymore. So when you think about shelter in place, lonely, restricted, it would be possible to get depressed, and I think some people have done that. I really do. So hearing this story about Father Baradelli really at least gave me a different perspective, because when we do shelter in place, in a way, we are actually making a sacrifice. Yes, maybe for ourselves, but also for everybody else, because we're doing this to flatten this infection curve so there's going to be enough ventilators, and we don't have to make decisions like Father Baradelli did. And when we think about it, the reason that we're making this sacrifice is really more for older people, more for people who are medically compromised in some way. So if you look at it, look at the young families, look at others. It's younger, stronger people who are going through shelter in place for the sake of older people and people who are less medically fit. It is a sacrifice. And this is a case where the young and strong are doing something especially for the older and the weak. And I just can't help it. This just reminds me so much of something that Jesus taught. He was telling people how to behave, and he was saying, when you do this for the least of these, you do it for me. Wow.
Wow, that's right. Hadn't thought about it quite like that before. So, as we make our sacrifices by sheltering in place, let us not be depressed or discouraged, but rather feel some joy, because here is something we can do for others. We may feel like we're victims of our circumstances, but there really is a greater purpose for us doing this. Not only can we know and truly know, we always know how much God loves us, but this sheltering in place gives us an opportunity to show God's love and our love for others.
What a great way to look at this, and what a great way to feel we're doing God's will here.
So from our shelter in place home,
Goodbye.
Till
Till
next
next time.